Run and gun filmmaking. This is not a line of work for the weak at heart or the yellow-bellied. You're constantly being asked to adapt and overcome to new things. You're adapting to new scenes, which pose new challenges, and you often have less gear and even less time to pull it off. Which is where these lights, well, they feel like a bit of a run and gun filmmaking secret weapon. From Zhiyun, we've got the Molus G20 and the Fiveray M20C. This scene you see right here, well, this is a classic example of what I would do on one of my traveling run and gun type film sets. And it's lit entirely by those two Zhiyun lights. So let's see what kind of effect they're having here. So this is no lights, except for the ambient light, which is all coming from a large window off to my right. So then I'm gonna introduce the key light, the Molus G20. And you can see just how much of an effect that's having. And then that second light, that M20C, I've got a practical back there that's not actually plugged in. It doesn't have a bulb either. So drop the M20C in there, and that's gonna give us that nice warm glow coming out of that lamp. So what are these lights? Let's talk about it. And first, we'll dive into the Molus G20. The thing about the Molus line of lenses that I simply could not ignore was their wildly compact form factor. The first time I saw a Molus light, I was truthfully skeptical. I couldn't believe what they were claiming out of such a small lamp head, but I couldn't ignore it. That they kind of kept living in the back of my mind. So you've got that tiny form factor that's lightweight, that still has a 200 watt output, and it can be boosted to 300 watts if you need it, while maintaining a 97 TLCI rating, and you still get bicolor capabilities from 2700 Kelvin up to 6500 Kelvin. You can understand my skepticism. We've also got app control via the ZY Vega app. You saw me use it earlier in the video. It's exactly what you'd expect out of a refined yet simple lighting app. And then we have a separated control box from the lamp head. So if you have the lamp head rigged up overhead or somewhere you don't have easy access to, you can still control the parameters of your light without having to use the app or actually get yourself up to the lamp head. You can do it via the control box in a more convenient location. That's the Molus G20. Let's check out the Fiveray M20C now. The standout feature here again is that compact form factor. That's kind of the trend with these lights and why I like them so much. It's considered pocket-sized. I wear skinny jeans, they don't really fit in my pocket, but that's the idea. But in this deck of cards of a light, you're getting 20 watt of output that maintains a 96 TLCI rating, and you get full color spectrum output. You're also gonna get via a maglock type system. You can use diffusion as well as a honeycomb grid and barn doors to help you shape that light however you need it to. Travel or run and gun filmmaking often mean two things for me. It means that I'm taking smaller or fewer items and I have less time to get myself set up for the day. So that's the criteria that we're gonna use as we judge these new lights from Zhiyun to the lights that I have favored for these types of jobs. And that is the Amaran 300C paired with the Aperture MC. We'll start with the first criteria and arguably the more important one, at least to me, and that is the footprint of the kit. At a glance, we can see that the Zhiyun kit is significantly smaller, but it raises a new question of how much are we trading? What do we have to give up in order to achieve that smaller package? Now, I'm gonna introduce to you an equation that's not exactly industry standard. I'm making it up for the sake of this. And it's going to be what I'm calling lux per square inch. And what that means is how much brightness can we achieve in relation to the amount of space it's gonna take up in a case, the overall volume of the lighting kit. That will give us a numerical figure to better compare these two lights to each other to figure out how much firepower we're getting for the size of the package. Which one of these kits is really punching above their weight class. Gives me 467.5 cubic inches to pack that kit. Now let's do the same for the Amarin kit. That means for this kit, I'll need 840 inches cubed to pack that kit up. So we need to take the total lux available in this package, and we'll do brightness at 1 meter with the reflector to give us a standard reading. We're going to take our total lux divided by the volume of each one of these kits to figure out our ratio of lux per inch cubed. All right, the Amarin 300C has 26,500 lux, and it looks like the Aperture MC can do 1,100 lux. A total lux of 27,600, and we'll divide that by the 840 inches cubed, which means that we get 32.85 lux per cubic inch of this package. Let's do the same for the Zhiyun. Now, allegedly, the Molus G200 is capable of outputting 61,000 lux at 1 meter when using its standard reflector. And it looks like the M20C is going to produce 2,000 lux of luminance, just shy of that 1950, which gives us a total lux in this package of 63,550. We'll divide that by the 470 cubic inches, which gives us 135.21 lux per cubic inch for this package. I'm gonna be honest with you. As of this moment right now, I have not tested the actual output of the G200 versus the Amarin 300C. I'm a little skeptical that this is putting out that much more light than this one. Please hold. I'm surprised to learn this, but the G200 actually was brighter than the 300C. Now, I don't know what that translates to lux. It doesn't seem it's as significantly brighter as maybe the lux readings made it seem, but it's brighter nonetheless, and I'm surprised to learn that. So now we know. Now that second criteria had to do with how quickly we could get these lights ready to rock. So we're going to do a side-by-side test here to get them from unpacked to turned on and ready to go. Simple enough. Clock starts now. Stop the clock there. Let's reset for Zhiyun. So there you've got it. What we're going to learn from this is that these two kits are going to be very identical as far as setup times go. They have an equal number of parts, number of cords to unwrap and plug in, and overall number of steps to get turned on. So what do we do with this information? Make a pros and cons list, comparing the Zhiyun kit to the Aperture Amarin kit. Now, the first pro, the one that I think is most significant to me, is that metric that we made up together, the lux per cubic inch, whatever that ended up being. The fact that that figure was so high really surprised me. And I'm still in a little bit of disbelief that that's the case. What that tells me is I can get so much output for such a small package. That would be a hard ratio to beat for anybody, I think, if you consider size to output. Now, output isn't everything, but it's probably the most important thing, right up next to CRI, TLCI. But either way, that is probably the biggest pro for the Zhiyun kit that we tested here today. Now, this second pro is going to be a natural extension of that first one, and it is that tiny compact footprint that comes with the Molus G200 and the whole Molus lineup. This is the thing that I could not ignore about these lights when they first got launched. And as you saw in this video, this was the thing that I was skeptical about and suspect towards, because it doesn't make sense, and it still doesn't make sense to me how you could have such a small footprint and output so much light. The next pro here is going to be the fast setup. We know that the setup times are comparable between these two kits, and it's a pro for both kits. It's just how quickly you can get these up and running. So there's another pro. Now, of course, nothing is ever perfect, so there are going to be some cons for our list. And this comparison is in no way supposed to make the Aperture or Amarin lights look bad. If you own those, props to you. You got some great lights. I also own them, and I'll continue to use them as well as the Molus for different things. But that leads me right into one of my cons here, and this is specific to me because I own primarily Aperture lights, that this won't work with Sidus Link. Obviously, Sidus Link is Aperture's own light control system, and all the other lights that I have can be operated via that one app. And it's a very good, fleshed out, and comprehensive app. The ZY Vega app, from what I've used thus far, is perfectly sufficient. It's just nice to have everything in one for me. So I'm gonna put that as a con, but it's kind of a cheap shot. The second con that I have for you is that I don't like a loose control box. By that, I mean when the control box just has a strap on it that you can hang off of a knuckle of a C-stand. That's not my favorite thing. It flops around, it kind of bangs into the riser of the C-stand. And the last con that I have, and this comes because we're comparing the Zhiyun to the Amarin, that is that this setup, specifically the key light, the G200, is bicolor and not RGB. The trade-off is that we get the higher output, we don't get the full color with the 300C like we tested here, so that does have to be a con for this kit. Personally, it's not a huge con to me because I don't really find myself using RGB hardly ever, if ever. So there you have it. These are the lights that I just could not ignore. I think they are optimally designed for running gun filmmakers like us, and when the job calls for it, there's nothing else quite like it. So if these are going to be lights that you can't ignore after this video, there is an affiliate link down in the description. It'll take you right to the page, and it'll also help to support this channel. Which, on that note, how cool that we get to do this. I am so blessed to have this opportunity that you guys tune in to watch these videos. So thank you. Thank you for being here. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Happy shooting out there, and God bless.